This is E-Weekly, Eastern Michigan University's campus news. Time for toil and trouble on our Halloween special. This week we have news on EMU's Fish Lake property, the ROTC combat training, EMU Theater's Macbeth production, and as a special treat, we have a brand new Halloween-themed E-Walking. Dominique Bird is back with Dish with Dom and this week's Eagle Encounters. Stay with us because this is E-Weekly. Mwahahaha.
Winds in the east, mist coming in, like something is brewing and about to begin. Can't put my finger on what lies in store, but E-Weekly is back because we heard you want more. Welcome to the Halloween edition of our humble little campus news show. I'm David Pierce Anderson, but you can call me Bert.
That's right. People who are truly strong lift others up. People who are truly powerful bring others together. People, I just can't help but be inspirational. It's just who I am. As my last Halloween as First Lady, I welcome you to the tail end of October, and that means go schools and, more importantly, sacks full of candy. Thanks for joining us here at E-Weekly. I'm Shannon Smith, and now here's the news.
With the November 8th election growing ever nearer, Americans are considering options and reviewing agendas. However, many eligible voters feel their vote doesn't matter and might not even be registered to vote at all. That belief system is exactly why New Jersey Senator Cory Booker visited Eastern Michigan on October 10th, one day before voter registration deadline. Senator Booker spoke to an EMU crowd of nearly 250 in the Student Center auditorium. Booker claims the most perverse type of privilege is that there's a serious problem out there, but because it doesn't affect you personally, it's not your problem. Along with an entourage of other politicians and celebrities, Booker not only urged EMU students to register, but also to put in his 2 cents on why Hillary Clinton should be our next president. Regardless of who you vote for this year, just make sure you do.
Well, if you thought you were going to be the next investor in the Kresge Environmental Center, better known as Fish Lake, then it's time to put your wallet away because the property is no longer for sale. The wetlands are a place for professors like Norbert Vance who have not only invested time but telescopes at the Fish Lake property. The Kresge Center has been a part of the Astronomy Club since 1980. Aside from Vance, members from EMU's Green Club started a classic social media movement on Facebook, which picked up attention from the Biology Club. Together, everyone remains involved in the persistent pursuit of dissuading board members from selling it. And it worked. EMU will remain in control of Fish Lake and its plans to implement program developments to increase usage. 240 acres of wetland, woodlands, and fields 90 miles away from campus sounds like an ideal place to unplug, if you ask me.
In an urgent need to change how the public views sexual assault, the Start by Believing campaign was held at EMU on October 10th. Start by Believing is an awareness campaign to change how sexual assault is received on college campuses. Sexual violence awareness has come a long way in the last 30 years. However, society still is in need of greater strides forward. The National Sexual Violence Resource Center reports that over 90% of sexual assault victims do not report the incident. Many factors play into why victims don't speak out. Whether they feel embarrassed or scared, the community needs to stand with the victims and speak out against the violence. Sexual assault reports might be increasing in number, but that doesn't mean sexual crimes are increasing. With a change in how the public responds to sexual violence, we hope that more perpetrators will be brought to justice.
If you thought swimming with sharks sounds stressful, you probably haven't been a part of the ROTC Combat Water Survival Training. The name alone sounds intense, but wait until you hear about the event descriptions. Combat Water Survival Training builds confidence in cadets that are training to become officers, which entails building strong swimmers in a combat environment. This year, over 55 people participated. Events included a 15-meter swim with a dummy, M16 rifle, and a vest that they can attach equipment to, such as a canteen. Even tougher, try jumping into 10 feet of water, being fully submerged and having to swim back to the side of the pool, all while being blindfolded. That's only a couple of the challenges the cadets faced. CWST is a requirement to commission as an officer in the United States Army. Cadets, we salute you.
We're going to take a quick break. My cartoon penguins need to take a breather or they'll flipper me off. Up next, we have a Halloween-themed E-Walking, starring our own Sarah Podaraki. And when we return, we've got more news and sports, and Dom will be back with both her Dish and Eagle Encounters. There's lots more to come, so stay tuned.
It's that time of year again where the leaves start to change colors. Donuts and apple cider are the only things we live off of. Both corn mazes and hay rides are in full swing. And most importantly, it's that special holiday where we get to stuff our faces full of candy and dress like those sexy individuals that we all are. But what most people don't know is that Halloween is actually more Irish than St. Patrick's Day. The Celtic population believed that ghosts of the dead would roam the earth on October 31st, and they would dress in costumes and leave candy on their porch to appease the spirits. But what's Halloween without a little terror? We all do it, going out looking for a good scare at a haunted attraction or roaming in the dark to that abandoned asylum on the top of some hill somewhere with your friends. And while they try to convince you that they weren't scared and you pretend like we all actually believe them, we all have one thing in common. We all have one Halloween memory that stands out among the rest. So we're headed out to find out what people deem as their scariest Halloween memory.
When I was about 7 or 8, I had a Halloween party, and my best friend's stepdad came over in a Michael Myers mask and jumpsuit and scared all these like second graders. It was terrifying. All of us went running in separate directions.
I was underage, and there is we called it the Barn House off of Olive Street right here down in Ypsi. And a couple of our friends had this huge Halloween party, and it got broken up by all these cops. So there was like a lot of underage drinking. So I actually ran out the back door because the cops were actually surrounding the whole entire facility. So I think had a couple cops running after me because I'm like, this, I'm leaving. So I actually jumped this fence and hid in these pine trees for a good hour and a half. And I took my shirt off because I didn't want to be seen. So I was like completely, incognito and waiting, and I'm like I felt spiders crawling on me, and I hate spiders, and I'm like in this pine tree with my cell phone, and I'm like trying to call people. I'm like, get me out of here. Cops are coming out, they're looking, flashing their lights, trying to find me in the pine trees.
I do, actually. It's like one year we went to a haunted house, and it was very scary, or
Spooky.
yeah, it was spooky.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yes.
And what is your name?
David Pierce Anderson.
You seem familiar. So, David Pierce Anderson, do you have a scariest Halloween memory?
Nothing like that makes you go, whoa. But I would say when I was in 3rd grade, I was as Darth Vader, and I dropped all my candy in the street. And the Darth Vader helmet is very kind of fogged up and tough to see out of. So I was in the middle of the street picking up all my candy, and that was kind of terrifying. This was it would have been senior year, I guess.
What was the end of that story? Were you okay?
Oh, I got hit by a car. And then the guy came out and started hitting me. So senior year,
it wasn't scary. I'm just to say it was terrible because as a kid, I don't remember what age, my cousin, she made me wear a garbage bag over my body. She had to cut a hole in the top because she didn't have a costume for me. Although her son was a pirate, I had a white garbage bag over me, had the letter B on it for my first name and an S on the back. I was supposed to be Super Barbaro. I was teased by the teenagers in the neighborhood, which is pretty terrible. I kind of want revenge against them for laughing at me, but it's fine.
Sounds like a Halloween movie in the making. Do you have a funniest Halloween memory?
Funniest? Yeah, last year. I went as Edgar Allan Poe. I wore booty shorts and trounced around Ypsilanti as Edgar Allan Poe. Many compliments. That was one of the best costumes I had, and it was went a little viral actually too. Got 40 favorites on Twitter.
I beg to differ. I saw it, and his thighs are imprinted in my memory forever. It's terrifying. Sarah, I'm Sarah. Can you introduce yourself? I'm also Sarah Poderecki. Awesome. So, you know what, Sarah? I know what questions you're going to ask me, and I have a combination of all three because I really cannot think of any other enjoyable Halloweens I have had. But I used to work as a scare actor for an undisclosed company, and as a scare actor, they like to give underage actors weapons and tell us to hit them on things, such as barrels. And I broke my first weapon, so they gave me a bigger weapon. So I took this big weapon, and I bounced it off the barrel into my mouth. And that's why I have a fake tooth in the front. So that's a combination of all three, because it was quite spooky at the time. It's quite funny now, and it's my favorite to think about, because this tooth will be with me forever. How do you feel about your tooth, Sarah? Well, the tooth is quite unfortunate. I would wish to have the old one back, but now it is but a ghost in my memories. Thank you for being with us today, Sarah.
Welcome back to E-Weekly. Now back to the news. The Windy City and the Great Lakes State had teamed up with the Amtrak for the holiday season. If you were looking to catch the train home or just for vacation, this Thanksgiving you can. 10 extra trains will run from between Chicago and Michigan from November 23rd to the 27th. After adding extra holiday services in 2014, the Amtrak has decided to keep it going after experiencing an increased spike in travelers. Normal operation on the Wolverine, Blue, and Pure Marquette trains will continue, but the Wolverine line will make stops in New Buffalo, Niles, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Jackson, and Ann Arbor, in addition to the Union Station in Chicago. Departure times vary and tickets are expected to sell out quick. Make sure you start planning now and take a look at the Amtrak schedule at www.amtrak.com. The holidays are great for us college students because you can't beat free laundry, piles of food, and conversations about the future. Make your family happy and go home for the holidays.
Something wicked this way comes to a theater near you, if you live in the Ypsilanti area. The EMU Theater Department will be performing Shakespeare's Macbeth at Eastern Michigan's Quirk Theater. Lee Still will direct EMU's first production of the classic Macbeth story. This extravagant performance will consist of strobe lights, a fog machine, fake blood, and real sword battles. David Blixt choreographed these sword fights. Blixt is from Michigan Shakespeare Festival and also taught stage combat classes this semester here at EMU. Many can be intimidated by Shakespeare, especially without the luxury of a translator. However, the EMU Theater Department once again goes above and beyond and puts together an excellent performance that any average 21st century Joe can comprehend and enjoy. Macbeth performances are underway. The remaining dates are October 27th, 28th, and 29th at 7 p.m. and October 30th at 2 p.m. in Quirk Theater. Tickets can be purchased in person at the Convocation Center, the Student Center Ticket Office, and the Quirk Box Office, by phone and online at www.emutix.com.
Coming up, Anna Moga and Sarah Podaraki will fill us in on the latest in Eagle sports. But first, we have to do the Dish with Damo, starring the delightful Dominique Bird. Welcome, Dominique.
Thanks, Shannon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Dish with Damo. If you hadn't already noticed, I'm dressed simply as me. Well, and that's because I don't celebrate Halloween. I'm pretty sure you're wondering why, and this dish I'm serving should provide some insight. Now, the origin of Halloween stems from an ancient Celtic festival called Samhain, some 2,000 years ago in what is commonly known as Ireland. Now, at the time, the New Year was celebrated on November 1st. The Celts believed that the night before the New Year, the boundary between our world and the world of the dead was at its thinnest, and that ghosts returned to Earth, damaging crops and causing trouble. This was also a time when Druids, or Celtic priests, made predictions about the future. Now, as time progressed, Celtic and Christian traditions started to blend. Which brings me to the topic of current Halloween traditions, such as trick-or-treating and jack-o'-lanterns. Now, dressing up as costumes is an American and European tradition. Now, winter during those early times were full of constant worry about the lack of food and short, dark days. When people go around asking for food, they feared that the spirits that had returned to Earth would recognize them and harm them. To avoid this, they often wear masks and costumes to disguise themselves as fellow spirits. Also, homeowners would leave bowls of food or treats to appease the goats and stop them from entering their homes, leading to current tradition asking for treats instead of tricks. Even jack-o'-lanterns were not as harmless as they seemed. Originally, they were used by Celtics to ward off evil spirits. Now, in ancient Ireland, pumpkins didn't exist, so they would carve turnips and place embers in them to keep these spirits at bay. Now, this is just the beginning. I don't know about all of you, but when it comes to spirits, demons, ghosts, etc., I don't play around with that mess. It may have been turned into fun and games now, but I'm a firm believer in traditions and demons. So on All Hallows Eve, if you're looking for me in my costume, don't. As soon as I leave work, I'm headed home for Netflix and chilled wine. If you want to know more, you can go to history.com and look up the history of Halloween. After a quick break, Anna Moga and Sarah Podaraki are here to give you the latest in sports with a spring edition of Eagle Sports Update. Don't go away. Welcome to one of the fastest growing universities for freshmen in Michigan. A university where differences are celebrated, where faculty believe their students' success is their success, where our honors college has doubled in size and where we are nationally recognized for educating and improving our community. Being here is about being part of something bigger. It's about being part of a family. It's about fitting in while standing out. Now's the time to challenge yourself and be surrounded by people who truly care about your success. So whether you become an artist who inspires others, a creator who develops something new, or an innovator who changes the way people think, this is your opportunity. Fuel your curiosity through research. Hit the stage and enrich the lives of others. Compete in Division I athletics. No matter your path, we all bleed green. So roll up your sleeves. Dive in. Experience learning in and out of the classroom. Be a student of life. Welcome to higher education. Welcome to Eastern Michigan University. Welcome home.
In today's cyber world, the number of passwords you have to remember can be overwhelming. While it may be tempting to reuse the same passwords or store them in a not-so-safe place, in doing so, you're putting your online accounts and data in danger of being compromised. The Eagle security package includes LastPass, an encrypted online password vault that can store all your usernames, passwords, and other personal information in one location. LastPass secures your login credentials using one master password, the last password you'll have to remember. Not only does LastPass store your login credentials, but it can automatically fill them in when you're logging into trusted websites. LastPass can also aid in the creation of strong, unique passwords and secure sensitive data such as addresses, credit cards, and personal notes. Since LastPass is encrypted and protected in the cloud, it's accessible wherever you are, through the LastPass website, a web browser extension, or the mobile app. LastPass makes password security easy. For more information about LastPass, visit tiny.emich.edu/LastPass.
I'm addicted to Facebook. I'm always on it. I was checking out my feeds one day when I noticed an ad to test and keep an iPad. So I clicked the link. All I needed to give it was my contact info. You know, home address, email address, cell phone number. Seems pretty easy to get a free iPad. A week goes by and I never get a new iPad. And I noticed I was getting hundreds of text ads on my phone. Because of all the extra text messages sent to my phone, my bill went up $10. Yeah. I wasn't getting a free iPad. They were just fishing for my phone number to sell to advertisers. I know there are legitimate ads on Facebook, but if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. My name is Nate, and I'm trying to be e-safe.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Eagle Sports Update Sprint Edition. I'm Sarah Potaracki, and I'm practically perfect in every way.
And I'm Anna Moga, and my, what big eyes you have. The better to see the latest in Eagle sports news. Off we go.
The Eastern Eagles faced a tall task in playing the nationally ranked Western Michigan Broncos last Saturday in Kalamazoo, and needed more than a spoonful of sugar to help that medicine go down. The undefeated Broncos came out on top despite a valiant Eagle effort. The Eagles were only down one touchdown at halftime, but could not make up ground as Western finished with a rather lopsided 45-31 victory. This game was highlighted by junior Brogan Roback as he soared over the 4,000-yard mark for his EMU career, making him the 6th Eastern quarterback to do so. He passed for 319 yards with a career-high 44 attempts. This was his second straight 300-yard passing game. With this loss, Eastern's record is now 5-3 and 2-2 in the MAC. Western improves to an 8-0, making them 20th in the nation. Eastern Eagles fly home again this weekend to play against the 2-6 Miami Redhawks.
The Eagles volleyball team took yet another hit this weekend as they played against the Buffalo Bulls in Buffalo, New York. After a major victory in the first set for the Eagles with a 25-14 score, the two teams played back and forth during the rest of the matches, with the Buffalo pulling just ahead enough to claim the win. A big congrats to Rachel Erb, who managed a career best with 21 kills as she led the green and white offensive attack. While it seemed like there was momentum for the ladies in green during the first 3 sets, the offensive took a hit during the last 2 matches, and hopefully we will see a turn in events as the season continues. Eastern is ready to hit the court once again this Thursday, October 28th, for a noon match at the Convocation Center. It's a must-win weekend for them, so come and show your green and white spirit for our Eagles.
The Eastern Michigan men's cross-country team's regular season came to a close last Friday at the annual EMU Fall Classic in Dexter, Michigan. Of the 6 Harriers participating in the race, 5 of them finished within the top 50. Redshirt freshman Colin Burdett took 25th, sophomore Morgan O'Flaherty finished 30th, and junior Nick McFarland took 33rd. Meanwhile, the women performed very well in that same event. Of their 7 Harriers, 3 placed in the top 50. Head coach Sue Park stated that the course was wet and muddy, so it was not ideal conditions to run fast. Junior Danielle Bensley finished 19th, junior Claire Mesa finished 48th, and junior Lauren Potschmidt finished 49th. Both teams are turning their attention to the postseason, with the Mid-American Conference Championships this Saturday, October 29th in Kent, Ohio. The women are looking to win their 2nd consecutive MAC title. The men, meanwhile, will be competing for their 21st overall and 7th consecutive MAC title in program history. That sounds supercalifragilisticexpialidocious to me. Go get 'em, Eagles!
It sure does. Try as they might, the University of Akron was unable to take down EMU's women's soccer team. Eastern started off strong against Akron, keeping possession of the ball for a whole 15 minutes at the start of the game. 15 really was the magic number for the Lady Eagles, as they also managed to take 15 shots on their opponents, while the Zips only managed 5. Shout out of the game goes to redshirt senior Ellie Tiller, as she took on Akron's keeper with flying colors, blasting a goal and scoring her 5th goal of the league. With the final score of 1-0 and the 6th win in a row, Eastern really took flight, securing a spot for the team in the Mid-American Conference Tournament. The Lady Eagles look to keep the ball rolling at home Thursday, October 22nd, against in-state rival Central Michigan. Good luck, Eagles, and keep up the momentum.
In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. Our fun is done, now go feed the birds.
That's right, and I'm headed back to grandmother's house. This time, I'm not going to take the shortcut. Thanks for joining us for the Sprint edition of Eagle Sports Update. We've got a little break, and then Dominique is back with this week's Eagles Encounters. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Shanna Gilkison, and ETV has been a very important part of my life, especially for the last 4 years.
I got my start at ETV in my 3rd semester at Eastern from fellow students, and it's been a great experience.
Working with all these new people that I didn't know before, it's very awesome just seeing how willing people are to get together and create something from scratch.
I'm Shanna Gilkison for Eastern Weekly, and this is E-Walking.
I will also be hosting and producing a sort of like a late night style talk show.
Everyone that's here wants to be here. They care to be here. They want to work. They want to learn. And with that kind of environment, everybody benefits.
I tell you, I've been doing really well, very successful here at Eastern, but it wasn't until I really became part of the ETV club that I really felt like I was getting more of what I needed as a student.
We decided that we wanted to do things above and beyond our coursework. So I was part of founding the ETV Student Org.
It just so happened that Shanna was in one of my classes, and she told me to come, and I showed up, and it was very warm welcome. Like, everybody was very nice to me right away. And they actually had an idea to make a sitcom, or actually they called it a soap opera at that time. And they said they had, they weren't sure exactly what they wanted, but they wanted one thing. They knew that they wanted this guy, his name is Ramon, to be their main character. I mean, that was kind of how the show Week at a Glance kind of took off.
beyond Eastern's walls, when I'm done here, I'll probably be working with some people from ETV, again, professionally. And I think a lot of students don't take advantage of what they should with organizations on campus, and ETV is one of the best.
Hey guys, it's me again. I'm Dominique Bird, back to give you the scoop on campus for the happenings coming up this weekend. Now there's a lot going on, so much in fact that I don't have time to cover it all, so I'll stick to the basics. And by basics, I also mean just the events that are free for students. Now at noon on Friday, EMU's volleyball team takes on Ball State University here at home at the Convocation Center. Grab your green and white and help them beat the Ball State Cardinals. Later, at the historic Bowen Fieldhouse, EMU is hosting the Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein. Listen to her vision for our future from 6 to 8 p.m. Directly afterwards, students are treated to not just one, but 2 Friday night movies. At 8 p.m., a trio of reckless thieves breaks into the house of a wealthy blind man thinking they'll get away with the perfect heist. See just how wrong they were in the film Don't Breathe. Then at 10 p.m., watch The Purge, Election Year, the latest of the Purge sequels. This one features a presidential candidate targeted for death on Purge night due to her vow to eliminate it. Both screenings are in the Student Center Auditorium and, of course, are free. On Saturday, the big football game kicks off at 3:30 p.m. Eagles attempt to tackle Miami of Ohio here at the home at the Factory. Admission is always free with your student ID. Just across the parking lot, the Eagles volleyball team will be back at the Convocation Center at 8 p.m., this time against Toledo of Ohio. Lots of Eagles to cheer for, so keep your spirit gear on. On Saturday night, there's a special movie showing at the Student Center Ballroom. Lorraine and Ed Warren travel to London to help a family plagued by a malicious spirit in the thriller Conjuring 2. Again, free. There's plenty more on campus this weekend, including Shakespeare's Macbeth at Quirk Theater, but with Eagle Encounters, we like to keep things free and easy. Well, thanks for joining me. Have a fabulous weekend and be safe.
Indubitably. Thanks for joining us for our bit of Halloween fun here on E-Weekly. Never was there a more happier crew than them what seems chim chim chiree chim chiroo. In other words, so long, Governor.
Always remember, when they go low, we go high. I've got to run. I have a whole White House to pack up. Thanks for joining us for our Halloween special. We hope you enjoyed it.
And of course, if you want to see this show on demand, head over to YouTube and search ETV at EMU. I'm David Pierce Anderson.
And I'm Shannon Smith.
Happy Halloween, everybody.